So I wanted to start off and say congratulations. This is your directorial debut. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It is, yeah.
What made you want to kind of step into this area?
Well, I've been in the entertainment industry since I was a kid, and I've been acting for over 20 years and producing films for over a decade now, mostly horror movies. And I've had some success with it. And I really just came to a point where I wanted to shake it up and go back to the entire reason why I started doing film. I had taken a hiatus on acting, hadn't acted, you know, I was just thinking it was 2 years, but it was actually more like 4 years since I had done, an extensive role as opposed to
Yeah.
like a small appearance somewhere. And I just took stock of everything and went, I want to go back to my roots. I want to do something I've never done, which is an action adventure film, like Lethal Weapon or Indiana Jones, or I've been referencing Robin Hood from the 30s with Errol Flynn, but it's like one of the quintessential action films of all time, right? And so that was the real reason why I did this movie.
And you didn't only direct the movie, you also co-wrote it. So I'm curious what inspired the story in general.
Well, I basically it was story by me in conjunction with Danny Mack and Cooper Bebo, and Danny and Cooper were the ones that wrote the script, and I did my director revisions after as well. But it's a real testament to what they developed. We developed it together. They made their actor screenwriters as well, and I saw one of their films called Heel Kick, which is like about backyard wrestlers. And this was probably about 5 years ago. And I remember watching them going, these guys are really talented. I want to work with them. I didn't realize they were thinking the same thing about me. So when I called them, because I was like, I want writers that have comedic timing, because I want something that's going to be light and a popcorn film. I don't want to watch everyone talking low and they're
Yes.
dark. So when I sat down with them, they said, when do we start? And so we developed the script over a year's time. And then, I mean, the draft of the script was just so phenomenal. It was so easy to shoot.
And you starred in this movie. So what was the hardest hat to wear? We've got directing, writing, and starring in the film.
I don't think any of the hats were actually that hard. I mean, for directing, I had to really, there was an immense amount of concentration, but I was fortunate enough to have an amazing team around me, and I prepped for a very long time. So, I worked with my editor, and we had the shot list completed and the edit already planned. Now, of course, there was flexibility on the day if the location quite didn't work or the actors had suggestions. But going in, I knew exactly what I wanted, like down to we're using this lens on this shot. And that really helped free me up for the acting. And, for the acting portion, I had the fortunate, experience of being able to play the rogue character, and the rogue character gets to be flippant and light anyway. So it let me take the pressure off of having to pull in a Daniel Day-Lewis performance. I just need to have fun, really.
Yes. And your character was fun, but there was one thing about him that I was very curious why you chose this. Why did you choose not to name your character? I mean, he's just the thief, the kidnapper. I mean, what was the reasoning behind not giving him the name? Is it based on a true story? Is his real name James Clayton? Like, I need to know the background of this.
Well, it's an homage to spaghetti westerns, The Man with No Name with Clint Eastwood. And I mean, it's been done in other films too. I think there's an immediacy to not naming your protagonist. It's definitely non-traditional, but when you don't know the name of this character, you create a sense of mystery, but also you're just jumping right into the movie in a very first-person position with this character. And I think all of those things came into play. And also too, I really like answering, or it's not answering, I like posing enough questions for the audience to keep them engaged and wonder, like, what is his name? Is it important? Is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, even like Quentin Tarantino played with that dynamic in Kill Bill, and we didn't realize that, Kiddo, that the Bill was calling it, was her name, right? It's such a clever, like, this is why he's a genius. So it's definitely a dynamic that's been played with before, and I wanted to bring my own spin to it.
Okay, amazing. I mean, he looked like a James, I do have to tell you. But I
Okay,
mean,
I'll take it. It's everyone's name. Whatever you want
yes,
to call him, it's that. The
yes. All
true
right.
one.
I'll put him as James on in my mind. That's what it was.
Sure. I
That
like it.
was comedic timing with the plane taking off right at the
Yeah.
end. That was good
I
stuff.
got a lot of pushback on that, actually.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I had
I
a
love
lot of people, there were some people telling me that it wasn't going to work. And I said, I promise you, this is going to be an audience pleaser. And so
yes.
I put my foot down on it.
It stuck with me. It really did. I thought it was funny. So I'm glad you put that in there.
Oh, it's good.
So speaking of your character, we see him at the beginning. He's a thief. We're thinking he's the bad guy. And then throughout the movie, you find out he's actually a really good guy with a great moral compass. Why did you want to add that layer to this character?
Um, well, I think it goes back to wanting to make a movie that had heart
Yeah.
and that summer popcorn feel where, you left and you felt uplifted, like there was a whole point to it. I love, especially with this movie, you're watching it and it's like plot, 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 action sequence, action sequence, action sequence. And then at the end you go, oh, it's about love,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not talking about romantic love or anything like that, but it's just about love and feeling like that there's hope, there's new beginnings. And I didn't want to push that onto an audience because I think audiences are smart enough. I wanted them to come to their own conclusions and just give a little bit of grain. And I think the key to that is giving your rogue character heart. I think that's why Harrison Ford is so relatable, in those, in his roles, is because, yeah, he plays a jerk, but,
Yeah.
he's actually a really nice guy, right? He's just trying to protect himself, really.
Yeah. Those are the best characters. The ones where you're like, he's a jerk, but if he like cares about you, he'll show it. He's there for you. So I love that. Like you said, there were a lot of action-packed scenes. Did anything crazy happen on set during these stunts?
Not really. As aside from the actual like sequences themselves, because
Yeah.
everything was practical. So we were really spinning the cars. We were really crashing the doors off cars. We were really blowing things up. The machine guns were real. Everything. I think the whole thing was a total chaotic, perfectly timed chaotic insanity the entire time. I remember there was one day, especially in the parking lot shootout, we had 5, maybe 6 cameras. And so you've got them zipping past one way, and we had a camera on like a little go-kart that was like flying, like driving around, and then drones swooping in, and then we're firing machine guns and like putting off squibs. And it was a great day at work.
Yeah, that's a fun day at work. I
Yeah,
think
it was
I think you
pretty
got a
awesome.
cool job. That makes me wonder, like, what was it like on set? How was the cast with each other? Was it fun, even though, clearly you weren't friends in the movie, but was it fun on set?
It was an incredible amount of fun. And we shot on location. So we took over the small town of Cache Creek for, probably about 4 weeks. And like literally we rented out every single hotel room. So by the end of it, we were all just such dear friends. And I find, the more relationships that you can build with cast and crew behind camera, it permeates through the film. And especially a film like this, where, you're dealing with some real stakes of people dying, but you do kind of want that layer of warmth throughout.
Yeah,
And so I kind of deliberately set up that ecosystem so that it would read on camera.
it did. It did read. So finally, this is playing in theaters. We're getting back in the movie theaters. What is your favorite movie theater snack?
Oh, I would have to say popcorn.
Oh, a classic.
It's classic. I'm a popcorn fanatic. I'll eat a whole large to myself, and it'll be done probably before the movie even starts.
Are you doing a whole bunch of butter on top, like pumping the butter into it? Okay,
Oh
good.
yeah. Yeah. It's probably not good for me.
Hey,
And
we're not on a diet at the movie theater. That you escape. You're in another world whenever you're in that movie theater, and that's what I hope people
I'm ready to watch, right? So I have
Yes. I've gotten some weird answers, so I'm glad you went with popcorn. I'm very,
to done.
I mean, people, one time there was like licorice, and I'm like, that's what you choose out of every candy, every, I don't know. And then combinations, there's some weird combos.
Yeah, like chocolates inside the popcorn and stuff.
Oh, but that can
It's
be
not my
good.
go-to though, but it is good. Yeah.
That is a good switch up, adding the salty with the sweet. But I hope people grab some popcorn, put a whole bunch of butter in it, and go see Bulletproof in theaters and on demand August 19th. Thank you so much for talking to me, James.
Hey, thank you so much.
Loading up, loading my shots. This ain't no ordinary.
We'll never stop.
Every day get away.
We belong.
Not today.
You are gonna see me again.
Loading my shots.
You wanna die like a rat?
Yo, get out of my
You're
way.
nothing.
Get out of my way. Get out of my way.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, officers.
What happened to your arm?